listeners, and welcome to another episode of Bones of the Story. Today, it's our favorite episode of the whole year. Well, maybe not for Jen, but this is our 2024 top shelf reads. And of course, I'm weird with numbers, so our top shelf number read is 6 books. Jen and I are going to go back and forth talking about what our top 6 favorite books of the year were, and then possibly have some honorary mentions for you guys. You ready, Jen? Do you want me to go first, or you go first?
Oh, why don't you kick it off?
Okay, so coming in at
I'm
number,
assuming we're starting at the bottom, right?
yeah, 6.
Okay, good.
So starting at number 6 is the Evelyn Maynard trilogy. I hate the name of this trilogy. I just call it the Variant series. It's by Cadence
Oh,
Snow.
yeah.
This is a series I talked about earlier in the year that reminded me of Bonds That Tie. So that's why it's coming in at number 6, because it Bonds That Tie, for those who don't know, is like my all-time favorite series. So the fact that this one just had that same feel, it was reverse harem with the magic and the bonds or mates or whatever you want to call them. It was really good. And it was only 3 books trilogy, so that's even a plus. Not that I'm upset
Yeah.
that Bonds That Tie is like a million books, but so that is why that one is coming in at my number 6.
Okay, well, my number 6 is there because you needed 6. Uh, so, unlike Misty, I didn't even break 100 books this year. I didn't even break 70 books this year. So, my list, I feel like, was a lot harder to come up with 6. My number 6 is Driving My Obsession by Lauren Beale. I did really enjoy it. It was the first book, I think, of the year that I actually sat down and read instead of listened to. So that's the like, and I did truly enjoy the book. Like, I raved about it on our episode. So I was like, yeah, it deserves spot number 6.
I don't think I put any podcast books on this list. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. I did. I put 1.
Yeah, I put 1.
Spoiler.
Well, 2 if you
2.
count Driving My Obsession.
Yours should be 2, because I probably know what your number 1 is, okay?
Yeah, you probably do.
Okay, so coming in at number 5 is The Wrong Pucky Number by C.R. Jane. It's a contemporary hockey romance, but he is a stalker and kind of almost kidnaps her. So he's like unhinged and it's super sexy. I love it. The text chatting in this series, because it's 4 books so far, between the team players, the teammates, is hilarious. I love Lincoln. Ugh, he's great. Are you changing your lineup?
I messed up.
You totally messed up. You forgot to add a book, didn't you?
Yes, because I should have, and you're probably not going to be very happy. So number 6, instead of Driving My Obsession, it should be Unholy Vows.
Okay.
Can I switch it?
It's your list. You can do whatever you want.
I forgot. I don't know why it wasn't showing up on my story graph. I must have not added the dates or something.
Okay, so let me ask you something. How many bots books do you have on your list now?
If I don't remove Driving My Obsession, then that puts me at 7 for the top reads, and then I have 5 authors for honorary mentions.
Well, you can drop Driving My Obsession to honorary mentions.
There you go. That works.
So then in your top 6, how many do you have?
Like individual books?
No. How many bots books do you have?
Oh, bots books. 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious. Okay, so we're reverting back really quick. Jen has updated her list. Number 6 is Unholy Vows.
Yes. I loved that book.
It was a great book.
It was yeah, I didn't add the read date. That's what messed me up.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I'm just glad that it's on your list.
It honestly would probably be higher, but I'll explain why it's not.
Okay. So, what is your number 5 now? Since we fixed your number 6.
Since we fixed my number 6, Miley King. Okay, so my number 5 is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. It's actually like a, I don't know what she would be considered.
Thriller? Psychological thriller?
Yeah, psychological thriller. Yeah, that's definitely, yeah, definitely her genre. I read a bunch of her books, and actually, she's one of my honorary mentions. Spoiler alert. I read a bunch of her books at the top of the year and really, really enjoyed them. The Housemaid was my favorite, though.
Okay. I like how you're adding some genre mixing, blending. Okay, so my number 4 is don't hate me, Jen. Lights Out by whatever her name is,
Navessa Allen.
Navessa Allen. So that's my number 4 just because I feel like the audio really brought it to life.
Absolutely.
And it still like sets with me every once in a while. I'll get like Josh's voice in my head or something. I don't know. It was really good. I liked it,
I
but that's
love
my number
that.
4.
That's so good. Okay, my number 4. I can't count. I have 7 on my top reads.
Like,
I legitimately thought I had 6. And now I have 7, even though I took Driving My Obsession off.
so which one are you dropping or are you keeping?
I'm gonna drop Housemaid to
Okay.
honorary mentions.
So this is going to
Shut
be a
up.
great episode.
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, so give us your
Okay,
5 and your 4. Are you sure it count? I put numbers next to mine.
I should have because I didn't. Okay, I definitely have 6 now. I'm sorry, I messed up.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so do you want me to do the actual number 5 and
Yes,
4?
then do
Okay.
4.
Okay. All right, so my real number 5 is The Witch Collector by Charissa Weeks. Just book number 1. I have not read book 2 or 3, and the 4th book doesn't have a release date yet, which is why I didn't continue on with the series. But I need you to read this series because the first book was phenomenal.
No, I've heard really great things about that, but you just triggered something that I didn't add to my list.
We're so
This
fired.
is what happens when we go on holiday break and then come back and try and do shit.
Seriously. Seriously.
Maybe you won't realize that it's not on the list, so we'll just keep going. Okay, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I thought about that book all year long. I wanted to reread it all year long, but there's so much to read that I
That's her
didn't.
first paranormal, right?
Oh my gosh, it was it was so good. I love it so much. Her two, like the two main characters are just fireworks, and
Did you read it or listen to it?
listen to it. The audio was really good.
Okay. Better than Lights Out? No.
No, I mean, I feel like you would have a really hard time beating Lights Out. That was
Okay.
one of the best audio performances I have ever heard.
It's up in the top 3
But
for me for sure.
it's on Spotify.
Bright is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that was your number 4. So my number 3 is actually an author, only because I read all of her books this year and I can't pick. It's Tessa Hale. She does these short little trilogies. She's got like 3 or 4 out that are reverse harem academy setting.
Ooh, yeah, that's definitely your jam.
Oh yeah. So like a few of them are wolves and like one's a set of dragons. Like she hit it all and I read all of them. Like they were just really good. So I couldn't pick one because I liked them all and they're all in the shared universe. So I was just like, we're just gonna do the whole author since I read all of her works. So that's my number 3.
I love that. My number 3 is The Shepherd King Duet by Rachel Gillig. I loved these books. The audio was fantastic. I feel like the narrator did a phenomenal job of creating very distinct voices for each character, which is really important, because this actually ended up being quite a cast by the end of book 2. And like at no point did I wonder who was talking, and that's really hard to do exceptionally well, in my opinion, when you have that many characters with different idiosyncrasies and, you know, accents and that kind of thing. And she did such a great job. The story was unlike anything I've read before, which was a lot of fun because we've read so much fantasy, romantasy, and it was unlike anything that I've read before. It was really, really good.
I started it yesterday. I wanted to have it read by this morning, but that didn't happen.
Where are you at?
The beginning.
Well, at least you started.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, coming in at number 2, unfortunately, is another author, Kylie Kent, because I literally read like all 30 plus of her books this year. Like, I
Oh
literally
my
started
god.
in January. I'm pretty sure I started in January, and the next book doesn't come out for like another 6 days, the last book in her last series. But I've read like literally, I skipped 2 books. I might have skipped 3. I skipped 2 or 3 books that I just didn't care about. Their side characters in the series.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I pretty much, except for those 3 or 4 little things, she has like over 30 books, and I read all of them this year. So I couldn't pick. What? Why are you giving me that look?
Because I think I just realized what books aren't on your list. Is it a duet?
No, it's a quad? What do you call 4 books?
Oh,
There's a duet I'm supposed to have on here?
maybe? Maybe not. That might have been last year. Was
Well,
Bridge Kingdom, did we read it last year? Or was it this year?
Bridge Kingdom was last year,
Was it? Okay, never mind.
right? It was last year.
I think so.
Because that was like season 2 of Bots, right?
Maybe.
Was Bridge Kingdom this year? No, it wasn't.
I don't remember. I'm probably getting it mixed up because I got the special edition covers this year.
Who you did?
And they're so pretty. Huh?
You did?
I got the first 2, yeah. They're right here.
Oh, I'm super jealous.
Aren't they beautiful?
They are
so
very
happy.
beautiful.
God, I love them so much.
Yeah, so it was December of last year, so.
Okay.
Okay, you had me scared for a second.
I was scared for a second.
Yeah, no, Kylie Kent is crime syndicate and mafia, and like, it's like 4 generations deep. It's so good. I loved everything about this series. I think my favorite one, she did a Christmas one where she got a lot of the families to come together from all, different parts of all the generations, and it's just like watching the chaos of seeing these characters after, it's been a few years or however long it's been, and them all getting together, and like, it's mafia kids and crime syndicate, and trouble's gonna happen, and somebody runs off and elopes, and like, it was just, and they're like, oh my gosh, a whole month of this. Like, it was great. I love Kylie Kent. She does a really good job on writing really funny, good characters. The mafia world is really good, so that's why she's at my number 2. And side note, according to Storygraph and all those things, she's the most read author that I have this year, obviously, because it's like over 30 books.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Your number 2?
My number 2 is the Wolf Hotel series by K.A. Tucker. This is actually an older series. I can't remember when it came out, but it's been on my to be read list for a long, long time. And it was so good. I'm so sad I didn't read it sooner. It's the first 2 books, I think, are based in Alaska, which I didn't know when I first started it. And I probably would have started it sooner if I had known it was based in Alaska, because I love Alaska. Now I'm curious as to when it came. Yeah, it came out in 2018. So it's a little older. But
Wait,
it was
which
really,
one?
really good. The Wolf Hotel series by K.A. Tucker.
I'm looking at it on here. It says first published in 2015.
Oh, okay. That was just the box set, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah, November 16th, 2015.
This is your number 2? Now I'm going to have to read it.
It's the
whole series or just book 1?
The whole series.
Okay.
I loved the whole series. It's very it's age gap, billionaire, farm girl, but also kind of like a coming of age.
So I hit like all your check boxes.
It really did. It really did.
And then throw in Alaska and that's it.
Yeah. And because he meets her when she's so young, like he really gives her the space to explore things that she never would have been.
Ward Guardian?
What? No.
Oh, damn.
No, it's her boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Okay. I'm adding it to my list. I'm gonna have to read it now, especially if it's your number 2.
Yeah.
So my number 1, which shouldn't surprise Jen at all, is Unholy Vows by Mila Cain. I can't help it.
So
it was the best romance mafia I read this year. It's Chef's Kiss. It's like all mafia is now compared to this.
Yeah. I haven't read the amount of mafia that you have, obviously, and we talked a lot about that in the episode for Unholy Vows. And I devoured that book. It was so good.
Yep.
All right. And my number 1, to no one's surprise, is Lights Out by Navessa Allen. I fucking loved that book. I laughed so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob Morgan's performance is... Do they do awards for audiobooks? Because
I think they do.
Good, because he needs an award. That was the most incredible audiobook narration I have ever listened to, and he enhanced the story and the character so much, and it's just great. I just loved it.
I agree, but I had a few other ones that kind of topped it.
It's fair.
Okay. All right, let's go to honorary mentions. Jen has already dropped 2 honorary mentions. Is that correct?
Yep, sure did.
She's done Driving My Obsession and The Housemaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and drop 2 honorary mentions. How many honorary mentions do you have after that, Jen?
5.
5? Okay. Me 2, as long as you don't yell at me about the other one. Then I do 6. So the first 2 that I'm going to do as honorary mentions, one is Carnal Urges by J.T. Geisinger. It's the second book in the series. Hilarious. Why are you looking at me like that?
Isn't J.T. Geisinger the one that wrote
Yes.
Perfect Strangers?
Yes. She dropped
Didn't you say you were never going to read her again?
And then
How did you not tell me about this?
I did tell you about it. I'm pretty sure I told you about it.
You might have. I might have forgotten.
I'm pretty sure I would have been like, guess what I just read. The first book was okay. It wasn't too bad. It was a mafia book. I think I had to read it for my romance book club. And then I ended up reading the second book because I liked the secondary character in the first book, which is her best friend. And then the second book is her book. And it was hilarious. It was everything you want in a mafia romance novel from a person who's not from that world, giving the mafia kingpin shit for kidnapping her. Like,
oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
It was. Her humor and how she won over his guys to be like them looking at the kingpin, I don't remember his name, and being like, she wants chocolate. We're going to give her chocolate. And he's like, she can't have chocolate. And they're like, we're going to give her chocolate anyways. Like, I don't remember what it was. It was something. But he looks at her and he's like, I've known these guys for years and I've never questioned their loyalty. And they're in there with you for 1 hour and all of a sudden they're worshiping you. He's like, what the fuck are you doing to my guys? Like, it's just great. I do recommend reading the first book because you understand why she gets kidnapped and why she ends up where she's at. Even though, again, the first one isn't my favorite, I enjoyed the second one a lot because of the main female character. And of course, it's mafia, so that's always a win.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me the titles because that sounds like fun. Although
Okay.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be stuck on this current series for a long time.
Well, are you going to read all of them?
I think so.
Really? Okay.
If this continues to go as well as it does.
Don't tell me that because I just want to read the first one.
I know, but it's so I'm really, really enjoying it.
Okay. So my second honorary mention is Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score.
Yes!
For those who don't know, Lucy Score is Jen's favorite author, and she has been pushing me to read Lucy Score for a very, very long time. So earlier this year, I had space because I was going through a funk, as always. So I got the audio from the library, and I put it on thinking I was just going to just tell Jen that I just listened to it, and I ended up loving it. I loved it so much, I turned around and I bought the book. Although they sent me the wrong cover, but it's still fine. The audio is really, really good. I don't think I would have enjoyed it if I had read the book. It was the audio that made me enjoy it the most. So,
you know what? I don't think I listened to the audio of that book. I think
really?
I actually read that one. Yeah.
Nope. I think it's the same thing with Lights Out. Like, the audio made it better for me.
Yeah.
If I would have read it, I would not have enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Okay, so those are my 2 to catch up with your 2. And then you have 5, and then I have 5. Maybe 6, as long as you don't yell at me.
I'm not going to yell at you. I mean, screwed up the first 10 minutes of this, so
yelling at me, not yelling at me, but just giving me that stern, why isn't the series on your list, Misty? But yeah, okay.
I'm so curious as to what series this is.
Well, it'll be a PPS, honorary mention, okay, instead of just a PS.
Okay. All right, so am I doing one of mine?
Yeah, we can now go back and forth since we're caught up.
Okay, cool. I don't really have these in any particular order.
Yeah, me either.
Okay, cool. But the first one I have is Abby Jimenez. I read several of her books this year. I think she does such a beautiful job of tying lives together, like in a huge universe. Like, technically, like, they all kind of like, the musician from this book, saw the doctor in this book, but it was years ago, and it's just mentioned in passing. And I love that kind of like Easter egg stuff. It just makes me so happy to find, and Abby does a great job of it. She also does a beautiful job of writing real life scenarios. Like, she did partner death. She did I don't think it wasn't PCOS. Maybe it was endometriosis, or it was some type of infertility issue. Like, she's done that in almost every single one of her books. And it's such emotional writing. I cry in every single one of them, which is why I didn't read more than, I think, 4 or 5 of her this year. But she weaves a story together so well. It's so much fun to read while also like being very real.
Okay. I didn't know that she wrote real life scenarios like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely nowhere on my radar, not at all. But that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. So my next one is a quad. Is that what we're calling 4 in a series? Is it a quad? What is 4?
Sure.
When you have 4 babies, what is it called?
Quad.
Oh, okay, I'm calling it a quad. So it's the Monsters Among Us series by Debbie Cassidy. Man, I don't even know where to start with this series. We've got fake alien abductions. We got monsters. We got angels that are actually the bad guys. We got gods and crossing universes. Like, and it's a reverse harem, so like it I feel like I have like 3 boxes of check boxes that like hit, and this is one of them. You got reverse harem, monsters. Like, I don't know. It was just something about this crazy world, this post-apocalyptic world that she created on an alternate planet. I don't even know if they're still on Earth anymore. That just sucked me in, and them trying to figure the things out, and like I don't know. It was just greatness. It was like crazy greatness with all this stuff going on. But I enjoyed it a lot. So that's why this, if we would have had more than 6, that probably would have been number 7, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the other ones just have more things with the mafia and stuff like that than I. Actually, that's not true. These will all be on the list. Let's be honest. That's why they're honorary mentions. But it just stuck with me how she just created these things and brought all of these elements together, and it wasn't just thrown together and being all trashy. Like, it was cohesive. It was a good story. Like, I enjoyed all 4 books. I don't think I got bored at any point, and it was just, and them trying to solve the mission. I call it alien abduction. That's probably not what it is. Them trying to solve, like, where do the people go when they go into the light, like, like all these things. It was just great. I loved
Hmm.
it.
It sounds good. My next honorary mention was or is Tessa Bailey. I read several of her books. Love her writing. She's one of my favorites. Just a tried and true go-to author.
My romance book club tried to force me to read one of her books, and I didn't do it.
I mean, she's fun to read. And I think that's why I didn't read a lot of Lucy Score this year either, because I only read one book. It's just a very like tried and true method of writing, and it's something I can turn to when I don't want the upheaval of dark romance or romantasy or whatever. But it's fun to read while it lasts, and then it's over.
Okay. I like it. So my next one is also a series. It's the Immortal Vices and Virtues, Her Monstrous Mate series. And this is one of those collaborative worlds where each book in the series is written by a different author. And I think it's like 5. But this, just like the other one, this world that they created, I think I remember I was telling you about it. I didn't, it was a crime syndicate that was also paranormal, that was also a reverse harem. And it was just, it again hit all the check boxes. And I was just like, ah! So I definitely had to put that on an honorary mention. I don't know if there's one particular one that I enjoyed overall because, again, different writing styles, different authors, different sub series that they branch off into. But I just liked the core ones that talked about this crime syndicate with the paranormal, because that's not something that you get every day.
Yeah.
With the feel of mafia, or at least that I have read. Most of mine are not paranormal like that. So that's why it's on my honorary on that's why it's on my list.
My next honorary mention is Christina Lauren. Again, read a bunch of their books this year. I like that theirs are normally. I feel like theirs is almost a cross between Tessa Bailey, and Abby Jimenez. Like they normally like dip more into the emotion than Tessa does, but they don't quite go all the way like Abby does. So it's a really nice mix of like real life scenarios. I'm like, okay, I can see this happening, and also like this is adorable. It makes me kick my feet and giggle.
I love that. I haven't read a Christina Lauren book since they first came out.
I read a bunch. I think I read like 6 or 7 or 8 of their books this year.
Oh, yeah, no. I stopped paying attention when they became chicklit instead of romance.
Mm.
So my next one is an author. I read a couple of her books this year. This is probably going to shock a lot of people. Katerina Moreno, Maura. She does just straight contemporary romance, but she writes angst so well, and I'm an angst whore. Like that is like my catnip. Like if you write angst really good, I don't care what the genre or subgenre is, you've got me. And she's got this whole, I read like 4 or 5 of them this year. She's got like the Windsor Brides and like some standalones and some other ones, and I occasionally get into a reading funk to where I don't want to read a reverse hair. I know this is going to shock people, and I don't want to read parent. I just want a good angsty romance novel, and I she's my go-to person when it comes to that. And she does I don't want to say that it's rejected mate, but like I don't know what that term would be in non-paranormal contemporary. Forced proximity, arranged marriage, I don't know, but it's like they're forced to be together because they're billionaires in the family or whatever, but like one of them don't want the other until the other person wants somebody else, and then like so I just call it rejected mate humans. I don't know. But it's adorable. I love her writing style, her stories, the intricate world with the families. It's it's really really I really want to meet her. I would love to have she's one of the authors that is now on my list that I want to meet because it's just she woves the story so well. I never get bored. So
Aw.
that's I couldn't pick between the 3 or 4 that I read. I don't even know which ones I read. I was just like I'm just throwing the author down. And then you say that you were putting author down. I was like that works perfect. Okay. So
Okay, so my next honorary mention is Katie Robert. It's the Dark Olympus series.
oh,
I
okay.
read three. I think she had 3 books come out, or maybe she had one at the tail end of last year, and I read it at the beginning of this year. I think I read 3 of, it was Cruel Seduction, Midnight Ruin, and Dark Restraint this year. With Dark Restraint being I don't even know. I honestly don't know if I finished it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember. But that was my least favorite of the entire series so far, and it's been 7 books. But I love this world. I love the characters. I love that she continues to weave such a politically driven story while delivering some of the best spice I have ever read.
Okay. I'll get to it one day. I think that's the last book I owe you, right?
Yeah, I think because we're talking about doing Neon Gods for a season, I think.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, you'll have to read it for that season at the least.
Okay.
You
I'll get to
poor
it.
thing.
I know. For those who don't know, go check out some of our episodes. Did we even do an episode on her?
No, I think the only book that we've read on the podcast by her is The Dragon's Bride, which we
Yeah,
both did really like.
go listen
I
to
mean,
that
we like to
episode.
laugh at it.
Okay.
It was fun.
Go listen to that episode and you'll know why I am the way that I am right now. Okay, so my next one, honestly, I don't know why I wrote this one down, but it just felt like I needed to write it down because I read like 7 to 10 books in this series or this world. So it's Ali Santos, and I'm just calling it the Omega Heat world because she has this universe where there's Omegas and it's rejected mate, and I think a couple of them are reverse harem. I only looked at 1 or 2 of them because I couldn't remember them, but when I read the blurb for the ones that I looked at, I was like, "Oh, I remember this world." It was kind of one of those. And then I was like, "Okay, yeah, I really did enjoy." It was just basic. There was nothing really special about it. I don't think that I remember, but as I was looking at the titles and the covers, it was just like, "Oh." I mean, obviously I invested quite some time if I read that many
Yeah.
because I'm not normally doing that. So that's why I threw that. I mean, you got reverse harem, Omegaverse, rejected mate, like
Right. What more could you ask for?
exactly. Like you don't even have to tie my hands. Just give me a drink and some snacks, okay? And a nice comfy
Oh my
chair.
god. I love you.
I love you too, Jen. Okay. Your next one?
All right, my last one has kind of already been mentioned because I did The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, but I actually read, I want to say 7 or 8 of her books this year, and will continue the Housemaid series and will likely continue reading her when I'm in the mood. So we determined that she's a psychological thriller, and which is so funny. I actually kind of enjoyed that I went back to psychological thriller because that has always been my other go-to with reading. Like, it's always been romance of some sort and psychological thrillers. The two authors I've read the most of in my life would probably be Mary Higgins Clark and Heather Graham, which is kind of funny. They're on like totally different
I
scale,
love
like
Heather
different.
Graham.
Yes, like it's so it was a lot of fun to kind of go back into those settings again and play like whodunit and like psychoanalyze and that kind of stuff. I love doing that kind of stuff, and it was really fun to kind of do that for a little bit. She was basically all I read in, I think, January and February for the most part,
Okay.
aside from Bots books.
I'm going to have to recommend some psych thrillers for you because I used to be really into that genre too. I
Yay!
went through a phase. I got quite a few.
I love them. They're they can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They can also be terrifying.
Okay. So my last one before the PPS um, honorary mention is Kingdom of Shifters and Witches. I believe it was a quad series as well by Lacey Carter Anderson. It was this really crazy world where like shifters and witches and they were separated because a war took place, and even within the shifters of like wolves and like bears and stuff, they were separated because of war. And it's this one witch who gets sold off, forced to marry. It's a reverse harem too, so like hello.
And
Shapeshifters
forced to
and
marry.
yeah. Arranged marriage to put together this alliance between the witches and the shifters. But there are other things happening, and it was just really cool to see this main female character who didn't think that she had power because of the environment that she was in, and then getting taken out of the environment and growing as not just a woman out from under her mom's shoe, but like being in this space to not be judged to use her magic. Because in the witches society, any one failure or mess up or not doing anything perfect the first time, well, you're just a waste of space. Like you're no. Yeah, it was a lot of
Ew.
mental abuse for her, because not that she became this all powerful, like hidden quest epic, like in most fantasy. That didn't happen. It's just that she didn't have the space and the support to grow her magic correctly. Because I guess you would call her like a late bloomer, so to speak.
Okay.
But when she left, she was able to, and her magic was really good. And then the coming of the alliance between, the shifters and the witches, and then the war that they do, it was just really, I enjoyed it. There were a couple of spots that were not peak. When you read a book, after 4 books and you're building this world and this war, it kind of is like, okay, well, let's get on with it. But it
Right.
didn't last very long, and it has set with me for some time. So I was like, okay, the covers are really ugh, but it's a really good series. I enjoyed it for what it was, and this again, like a new take on the same thing of shifters and witches. I think that's the thing that motivates me now. Everything is, I
Yeah.
hate to say this, is like copied or somebody did it somewhere and you just change a few things here and there. I mean, that's just normal. But the ones that are here on my honorary mentions are, I think, mostly I picked them because it was something new that I hadn't read or come across before this last year. So
I
this is
love that.
just one of them. And so those are my honorary mentions. We had a good 2024.
Yeah. 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 I feel like I was a little disappointed in the quality of my books this year. I feel like for 70 books, it was hard to come up with a top, we'll say 7 because I accidentally did 7
Twice.
twice. You're right, I did do it twice. That's so funny. But
So
like
maybe.
normally if I read, I feel like 10% of the books you've read being on your list is really low.
Hmm.
So for it. So I was a little disappointed in the quality of my books this year, but the ones I read were very good. So I guess it kind of balances out.
Yeah. I think I was over working this year because I know next year I'm not going to be able to read as much since I'm starting the PhD program.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be next year when we do this, being like, ugh, textbooks don't count, Misty. I mean, they might.
You're like, this
Who knows?
textbook was really, really good.
It put me to sleep so quick.
Oh my god.
So, although, what major books are you looking forward to next year?
Oh god, that's such a hard question because there are technically three. Yeah. Well, maybe three finished series. No, four finished series that I have not read the last one or two books of. And because it's been so long since I read them, I'm struggling getting going again because I want to reread them. But I'm really looking for, well, okay.
Do you want me to name some while you think?
I'm looking forward to Onyx Storm. I hope we get what we got in Fourth Wing.
Yes.
I want to finish the Plated Prisoner series. I didn't expect it to be on your list. I want to finish the Flesh and Fire series.
Should we do the top shelf and then top bottom reads of the year?
Right? No.
Top 6 that we read that were really good, and then top 3 that are bottom shelf. Like, the cheap tequila, whiskey, like whatever, that you're going to have a hangover and throw up. Yeah, the well drinks. That's what we should do. Because the Guild series would be on my bottom 3.
Did you finish? Where did you
I'm
you
at
stop?
24% of book. Hold on, my Goodreads is spinning. I think it's book 3 or 4.
I think it's 4.
Oh my gosh, seriously, why are you spinning? Let me go to my phone.
But the Plated Prisoner series is one of them. Flesh and Fire is another one. Plated Prisoner series is by Raven Kennedy. Flesh and Fire is by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Onyx Storm is Rebecca Yarros. Queen of Mist and Madness by Lisette Marshall is the next book, or like the next series. I loved the series. Like I burned through the first 3 books, I think, and then I got hung up because the last one wasn't out yet.
So that's my PPS series, the Fae Isles, that I didn't add.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one on my list.
Well, you guys read it before me. I read it finally this year.
Right.
You guys read it last year.
Okay.
So
I did really enjoy that.
It's
series.
Gleam, so it's book 3. I'm at 24%.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
I really enjoyed books 1 through 3. I'm just gonna tell you now. I hated.
I know. This is why I stopped, because you were supposed to tell me if I need to read book 4 for book 5.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The book 4 was my lowest rated book of 2023. That was my most highly anticipated.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Aside from Iron Flame and Crescent City, I have not picked up another highly anticipated book since.
Interesting. I try not to be,
because I'm just so disappointed.
So I'm not psychic. I wish I was. It would be really. I probably wouldn't be cool. But sometimes I don't know. I don't know if sensitive is the right word to books. Like, I can sometimes be like, this isn't going to be very good. Like, my example for this is going to be Iron Flame. Like, I knew the hype. Actually, I'm going to give 2 examples. I knew the hype with Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame coming out. I was like, I literally just finished Iron Flame on Friday. Like, I started like Thursday, Friday last week. And it came out a year ago because I knew that it was going to be. I didn't know what it was going to be. I just knew that it wasn't going to be as great as Fourth Wing was, because Fourth Wing, when you have a first book that's great, like, meeting that hype is going to be very hard. Now,
especially on the timeline she had to.
Yeah, that's true too. So I'm very nervous about Onyx Storm. It is on my list. I don't know if I guess it depends on if we're still doing the live reading or not. Okay, so if we're doing that, then that's the only way I'm reading that book, because otherwise I'm gonna wait until a month before the next book releases. Because she finally announced that it's hopefully going to be just 5 books. Thank the Lord.
Oh, good.
Because,
I didn't see that.
yeah, she posted, somebody asked, and she said she's plotted out 5. That's not to say there may not be any spinoffs or anything, but
I'm
it's
cool with
5.
spin-offs. I just need the main story to be wrapped up.
Yep.
Like well, that's a whole other
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
conversation.
So, and then the other one that I was nervous about was Leather and Lark, which,
Oh yeah. It
ugh,
didn't hit my list either. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Like, I'm very much looking forward to Scythe and Sparrow. I enjoyed Leather and Lark, but it did not
yeah.
did
So,
not hit my list.
so things that I'm very excited for next year. Priest and His Antichrist by Amma Jones. It's the second in the spin-off series. Ugh, I just know that book is going to tear my soul to pieces, and I'm quite excited. It was supposed to release on January 1st. She pushed it back to January 29th. So, another one that I'm really excited about, Patricia Briggs' Alpha and Omega series. The next book is coming out, so I'm quite excited about that because of what transpired at the cliffhanger. I mean, it wasn't a cliffhanger, but that ending on Wild Hunt. Is it Wild Hunt? I'm looking at my shelves. Another one that I'm very excited about is Naileen seeing her Guild Hunter series. If I'm not mistaken, the next one that's coming out is going to be Bluebell and Sparkle.
Again?
A continuation of them. Yes, I'm super excited because their story is not over. So I'm pretty sure that's what the next Guild Hunter book is, and it's supposed to be coming out next year. So I'm
Hers
very
normally released
excited
in the
about that.
fall, right? I haven't
Huh?
read the most recent one.
So what? Say that again. I heard you, but I didn't hear you.
Hers normally released in the fall, right?
Yeah, so she has 2
Like
books that
that series.
release. One does in the spring, one does in the fall. Guild Hunter is normally in the fall, but the last one she pushed it back further because normally it comes out like August, September, and I think it came out like October, November. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked for the release date. I just read her newsletters, and she had mentioned that they're coming up, and so I'm hoping that they're the next couple
Oh, I'm so
to
excited.
continue their story. So I'm excited about that one. And there are a couple romance like indies that are coming out that are set for 2025, but they don't actually have dates. And don't even get me started on that. Penelope Douglas, her Hellbent series, the one that I've been waiting for, is coming out. It's the 3rd book. I haven't even read the first 2, so next year is going to be a very good year. I can't. I love, y'all know, Penn Doug is top 3. She's in my top 3 along with Amma Jones. Like, they're there. But there's no way I would be able to read the Hellbent series because it's supposed to be 5 books and wait for each one because each one is about a couple when the one that I want is coming out. No. I'm going to wait till the one that I want comes out, and then I'm going to read them so then I'm satisfied while I'm waiting for the next. So it's the same thing with Amma Jones with Priest and Antichrist. Priest was supposed to be, I think, the first book in the spin-off series, but she ended up changing it because, characters talk to you. And so she did War and Priest's sister, Halen, first. I haven't even read it yet. I'm waiting to closer to the Priest release so I can read the first one and then read the second because I can only handle so much angst. And I'm pretty sure there are some other ones that are coming out. I just can't think of them right now because I didn't prep for that. But those are just the few that are on my list. As you can see, Onyx Storm was not because I'm not. No, not after the ending of Iron Flame. I'm not. Nope. Nope. Okay. So you're not mad that the Fey Isles didn't make my honorary mentions?
No, I mean, it didn't. Well, I guess I read it last year. No, it's fine.
That I'm not saying that series isn't good, but I struggle with it. I don't know why.
That's okay.
I don't. But I'm excited that the last. Did you get the audible for the last one yet?
No,
Since you
because
just showed me.
I started.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. You told me. So I'll wait for you to listen to it first, and then I'll just listen to it after you.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay. Do we have anything else we want to share. We got lots of great things coming up next year. Super excited about.
Yes, we do.
So many great things.
Nope, I think that is it.
Okay.
All right. We would love to hear from you. Let us know what your top reads of 2024 were. You can tag us in on Instagram at Bones of the Story, and we will see you next year.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
and Jen,
signing off
from Bones of the Story.